Welcome to this lesson on tree harmony or Sanhe combinations of the earthly branches. This concept is an extension of what we have previously covered, the 4 growths, 4 cardinals, and 4 storages of the earthly branches. Those terms help us understand the earthly branches' role in marking the seasons, their beginning, peak, and end. This lesson focuses on the Sanhe combinations. Similar to the earlier lesson, these combinations involve specific earthly branches that signify the beginning, peak, and end of phases. However, here, the context shifts to the 12 life cycle phases, which we will explore in the next lesson. The Sanhe combination is based on the concept that 3 distinct earthly branches generate the element of their combination. This interaction is observed in the earthly branches that represent the growth, prosperous, and grave stages in 12 life cycle phases, which mirrors the growth, cardinals, and storages categories. While the Sanhe combinations align with the 5 elements theory, they uniquely exclude the earth element. We observe only 4 combinations: wood, fire, metal, and water. The earth element, having no seasons of its own, is paired with the fire element in these combinations. The Sanhe combination of Yang wood is known as Hai, Mao, Hui. In the Sanhe Yang wood combination, Hai corresponds to the growth phase, Mao corresponds to the prosperous phase, and Hui corresponding to the grave phase of the Yang wood heavenly stem. In the Sanhe combination of Yin water, known as Mao Hai Hui, Mao corresponds to the growth phase, Hai corresponds to the prosperous phase, and Hui corresponding to the grave phase of Yin water heavenly stem. The Sanhe combination of Yang fire and Yang earth is known as Yin Wu Xu, where Yin corresponds to the growth phase, Wu corresponds to the prosperous phase, and Xu corresponding to the grave phase of Yang fire and Yang earth heavenly stems. The Sanhe combination of Yin wood is known as Wu Yin Xu, where Wu corresponds to the growth phase, Yin corresponds to the prosperous phase, and Xu corresponding to the grave phase of the Yin wood heavenly stem. The Sanhe combination of Yang metal is known as Si You Chou, where Si corresponds to the growth phase, You corresponds to the prosperous phase, and Chou corresponding to the grave phase of the Yang metal heavenly stem. The Sanhe combination of Yin fire and Yin earth is known as You Si Chou, where You corresponds to the growth phase, Si corresponds to the prosperous phase, and Chou corresponding to the grave phase of Yin fire and Yin earth heavenly stems. In the Sanhe Yang water combination of Shen Zhi Chen, Shen corresponds to the growth phase, Zi corresponds to the prosperous phase, and Chou corresponding to the grave phase of the Yang water heavenly stem. In the Sanhe Yin metal combination of Zi Shen Chen, Zi corresponds to the growth phase, Shen corresponds to the prosperous phase, and Chen corresponding to the grave phase of the Yin metal heavenly stem. In summary, the Sanhe combinations principle is a pivotal concept in Chinese metaphysics, particularly relevant in both Bazi and Feng Shui practices. In Bazi, this principle helps determine periods when an element in one's chart becomes dominant, leading to either beneficial or challenging effects depending on the chart specifics. In Feng Shui, it plays a role in evaluating the positive and negative influences on a home or building, guided by the directions of the 3 earthly branches. In our next lesson, we will explore the 12 life cycle phases and how the principles of Yin and Yang dictate the positions of growth, peak, and grave of Yin and Yang heavenly stems.